Hey guys, this is Eric Weingarten with Weingarten Racing. It's Saturday, so it's an update video day. This one will be a really short video because I'm not even at the shop. So I came to Oklahoma City to visit my sister, but I also had to stop by Gerald Brand's place. If you watch Midwest Street Cars, or Big Chief's channel, he goes to machine shop. He talks to Gerald Brand, who's in Oklahoma City. Well, I dropped off a head with him to get repaired, and I had a great conversation with him. I highly recommend you go check out his channel. He's very good about doing repairs and other things with heads. So amazing guy, deal with builds engines, dynos engines, that sort of stuff. One-man shop, works really hard. He's got a really and very interesting story, not even so much related to racing. He's really pushing for right now something called the Patient's Bill of Rights, which it's actually not a right. It turns out it's only like a suggestion card, it seems like. So an actual legal Patient's Bill of Rights in Oklahoma. And it's one of his things, and he's got a great story with it. It made the news here in Oklahoma. If you get a chance, watch his channel. It's a very interesting story, not race related, but I promise you, if you have a loved one that ever went to the hospital, you would totally relate with how he is with the story that he tells about it, and you would be like, yeah, that doesn't seem right. Because no, I can't see anybody not agreeing with what he's asking. Of course, the hospitals themselves are fighting it because they don't want to be opened up to any lawsuits for doing the right thing. But anyway, great story there. Then I just came and visited my sister, but since I try to do cammed updates on Saturday, and this is Saturday, I'm gonna do this. As far as the challenge, the only thing you need to know is the competition will take place on October 21st, and it'll last that whole week or until I get all the cams tested. Competitors, if you want to switch out your cams, you got to have it done by October 14th. And then also, if you or anybody that donated, and please do donate, because man, the winnings are up. I don't have the paperwork in front of me telling me how much the winnings are for the people, for the competitor, how much they win now. It's definitely over 3,000. Well, thank you for all the people that donated. Anybody that donates, and I'm going to put a link in the description. So if you click on this video, click on the description, you'll see a link to where you can donate too, so that you can also get access to what I'm about to tell you. All of you that donated, you will get the cam cards the day before. So on October 20th, maybe the 19th, because there's so many of the people that have donated, it might take me 2 days to get a mass email out. It's either going to go by email or text. Chances are email, because by text, you're limited to no more than 20 people. More than 20 people have donated, and it'd be like a bunch of text. So if you have entered in an email address that's not one that you would use to send stuff, you need to tell me, and I need to look up your order and get that changed. But yes, the cam cards will be emailed, all of them, to you, so you get to see those. And then as the competition goes, I'm going to probably do emails on that too, because the same reason. I would like to text you, but again, you're only limited to 20. I might still do that, because then I could just have a whole bunch of groups saved, and I just max text them instead of the email. I'll see. But regardless, you're going to get those. So if anybody that donates, you're going to start getting that information on the 20th, maybe the 19th, depending on that, but not earlier than that. Now, I thought I'd use a little bit of time each Saturday to tell a little bit about some of the competitors themselves. Like to do a little bit of history with them and what goes on and some things. And you might find this interesting or not. So the two people I've talked to, we'll start with Daniel Powell. Because in all fairness, I had not heard of him except for YouTube. It wasn't until YouTube I'd actually heard of him. I had a very long conversation with him. And I could tell you this from watching the YouTube. I don't know if he's going to win this cam challenge, but he definitely has the best beard of us. That's got a man's beard, and I am envious. Mine, of course, is all white and stuff. So I don't know. He probably has kids or something, but I don't. He doesn't look like Kris Kringle. But he is from South Carolina. He has an origin story of how his business started, which is a great, fantastic one. I have to say this because I listen to all of them and I try to share things with you. Legit seems like a very nice, legit guy. And here's what I mean. Most cam guys I've talked to from my years of experience have like an ego. And cylinder head porters really are no different. You almost have to feel like you're the best so that you can, what do they call it? Fake it to make it or whatever. But I have to say, of all the cam guys I've ever met, this one seems like the most down to earth as far as like, he claims, and he says this over and over, he doesn't profess to be an expert. He's even said I'm on the kindergarten level or 8th grade level as far as his knowledge on cams. But from listening to what he is saying, he is far more knowledgeable than people that claim to be experts. And I'm straight up saying it. So there's what people claim and what people actually know. And I would say he actually knows quite a bit, and his details were great. So I've asked, and I'm asking each competitor this so I can give you a little update. How did you come up with your design as far as your specs and whatnot? So the other one I've asked is Summit, which I'll tell in just a minute. But he said the way he came up with his specs is and I should back up. I think there's about 4 ways in which people spec cams. The first one is people pick duration, and they pick low LSA, and then they pick the lift. And I have to say, for the largest part, that was majority me. The thing has changed. So in the beginning, that's probably it. Then you have people that pick the events. What I mean with that is they want the intake valve to open at the certain crank degrees before or after top dead center, and that's what they pick, that sort of thing. Same with exhaust closing. They're picking when they want the intake valve to open, when they want the exhaust valve to close, those events, and then they also look at how that affects overlap. Then the LSA and the overlap is whatever it is from those events. So that's probably your second group. And then you've got a third group is kind of like the hybrid. Like, I need more duration, but I still want it to open at this point. So I don't want to change the opening point. I want it still there, but I need the closing point at a different spot. And that's the hybrid. And I'd say I'm probably closer to this point now, almost. And the fourth is where people just have dyno tested different cams and are like, this works, and I'm going to test this. So saying all that, Daniel Powell is the opening closing event guy. So he says you pick the opening, you pick your closings, and the LSA is going to be whatever it is, and that's how he goes off of it. So if you're wondering how he spec'd it, that's what it's from. Now I'm sure there's more than how he picked where that opening point is. Like, he probably has dyno experience would say that, but his is based on opening and closing events. So fantastic to deal with. Just to give you a little background too, a little bit about him. He grinds his own cams. Now they're not regrinds. I actually heard someone saying that they're regrinds. I'm sure he does regrinds, but he's getting the unground cores and then he grinds on them. But I'm sure he can do regrinds. There's nothing wrong with using a regrind too, as long as you don't get out of the hardness. But anyway, all his stuff is just that he entered. It's new cores, and he just grinds them. And you might say, well, where did he get his lobe designs? Did he steal them from someone? No, I actually asked him that one. That was an interesting one too. He has paid because he understands he's good with at knowledge on the camshafts, but he is not a lobe designer. So he paid someone to design lobes. So they are his own design that he paid someone to design for him. Nice to know. So that's him. Definitely going to win the beard challenge, no doubt. The next one I'm going to talk about is Summit. So Summit Racing, the guy that would be in this one, I asked him, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name or not, but anyway, so if I am, I'm sorry, I'll put it in another video. But Summit Racing's been around since the 1960s. They are still privately owned. And I mention this because you would be surprised at how many companies, especially in the racing industry, are owned by private equity, not private equity. So they're no longer owned by the people who started the company. And in my opinion, I'm saying this, and this is my opinion, but so far, every time it seems like it's happened, it's proven right. In my opinion, anytime private equity has bought a business, racing related or anything else, they have destroyed it. So I know that there's exceptions to everything, so don't get me wrong. I know one private equity I think is actually fairly decent. But for the most part, private equity suck every bit of money out of them and then leave that company a shell, and it's crap. Summit Racing is still owned by a private individual, and that's a huge deal. And that may be a reason why whenever they had that Chinese knockoff of that valve body, they were able to say, nope, pulling it from our shelves, we're not doing that. While Jegs didn't, which is no longer owned by a private individual, no longer owned by the Coughlin family. So I do support Summit. I use their commercial accounts. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, doesn't change it. But I did ask him, where did he come up with his? And his is a shelf cam. So he's done no moans about it. He said he could have done a custom one. Absolutely could have done one. But he said, I wanted to give one that I think that we'd sell a lot to people, and this is what I think would work great for this challenge. So we'll see how well it does. But he is also, and he expressed this in talking to me, he's an opening and closing events guy. He wants the valves to open at this point, and that's where he wants them, and the closing to happen this point, and that's how he picks them. So, which for several of you old school timers, you're so used to the duration and LSA. LSA is only a product really of the events, really, and that's the truth. But once you understand where you want that valve to open, it really does change things, or where you want them to close. But anyway, he is a opening closing events guy. They're really proud of their products. They've worked really hard on development on it. They have, as you know, Summit kind of owns TrickFlow, and TrickFlow has 2 dynos that they dyno continuously on research and development stuff. So it's not like they just generic products that they sell. They're heavily tested, and which is really, really nice. So this will be interesting to see how their shelf cam compares. So I'm a huge fan of Summit as well. And though they're not paying me, Daniel Powell, Summit, none of the competitors are paying me for any of this stuff that I'm going to say. And I'm going to try to do this same type of thing for every one of the competitors. I still need to reach out to some of the others because I don't know them as well. So anyway, this has gone a little bit longer than I thought. So there's your kind of run out of those. But I was almost going to, Daniel Powell's really cool. And he's cool sayings that he says. And Summit, by the way, is really cool too. And I don't want to take anything away from them. Very cool, great to deal with. Fantastic parts. Oh, and I should point out too this. Summit did mention this too. The parts they have that are Summit branded, they intentionally try to have an American ones. And you're like, now they got so much Chinese stuff. They try to get American products, but sometimes the Chinese have overtaken that market on a lot of these products. So then they have to obviously sell overseas stuff. But they try to sell American. And there's some of their products that say Summit brand, they're definitely made, that are for sure made in America. But anyway, going back to this, Daniel Powell has so many unique sayings because he's from South Carolina. If you got the accent and whatnot, and I totally appreciate it because I say a lot of weird sayings too. I almost want to say like, Daniel Powell is so manly with that beard that I bet you he can shit standing up. Not just pee standing up, can shit standing up. But I didn't want to embarrass him. I guess I will in this one. But he has a lot of really funny sayings, and that's almost like someone should write down our sayings and his sayings and make a book because they're hilarious. So because if you're from the South, they are normal. If you're from the North, they're like, what are you talking about? So like, I don't have a dog in this hunt. If you're probably in the North, you have no idea what we're even talking about. But there's like a lot of things that we say that is not a big deal to us, but it's everybody else are like, what do you mean? But it's just something to us. So I do appreciate it. So I like the Southern lingo. So if you got some favorite ones, put them down in the comments because I do like a good chuckle. Matter of fact, I would rather have something that makes me laugh than makes me think about engines sometimes because I enjoy a good laugh. So, but anyway, a little bit longer. You guys, thanks for watching my face get blasted by sunlight. And yeah, take care. Hopefully I'll have better updates next week. I'll give you more updates on the cams. Oh, I probably should have started the video with this. I need you guys' one more favor. Please, please, please. Hopefully you made it to the end. On the next video I do, I want to answer your questions. So in the comments, if you have questions that you're like, I always wanted you to answer this, can you answer this question? Put in the comments the next video, instead of being a dyno video, I'm just going to answer your questions. So hopefully you made it to the end of this video. Please, God, tell me you've made it to the end of the video. But if you have, and you have a question about cylinder heads or anything that I might be able to answer, put them in there. And on the next video I do, I'm going to answer a whole bunch of questions. I do this about once or twice a year. So anyway, put that in there. Guys, remember, I'm no Superman. I don't port cast iron heads. You guys take care.